20 years ago, there was a young fellow. He was in his early 40s, and he was very, very ill. And the doctor said to his wife that we are afraid to operate because he could die on the table. It's very, very sensitive, very sensitive. His life is holding on precariously. So the doctor said, you got to go to a higher authority. You got to go to a higher authority and see if that other higher authority says that I can operate, then I'll operate. Otherwise, I can't. Now, she went home and she was thinking, who's the highest authority that she knows? Now, of course, that doctor meant another doctor. But her husband, 20 years before, had learned by the greatest tzaddik in America. His name was Rabbi Moshe Feinstein. I'm sure many of you heard of him, and if you haven't, you will hear about him as you study in the Vay. Rabbi Moshe Feinstein. And it was a wonderful, wonderful person. I have a story about him and myself in this book, which I all hope you'll buy 10 copies of. But the idea is he was special. So now this woman says, you know what? Who's the highest authority? Rabbi Moshe Feinstein. I'm going to go ask Rabbi Moshe Feinstein. So the next day the doctor calls her and he says, did you figure out which higher authority you're going to ask? She said, yeah, I'm going to him tomorrow. I have an appointment. He said, which doctor are you going to? She said, well, it's not a doctor, it's a rabbi. And he said, I don't believe you. You're gonna go to a rabbi to ask whether I should do a medical operation? What does he know about medicine? I don't believe any rabbi is going to tell you whether I should do the operation or not. She said, well, you told me to go to the highest authority, and that's the highest authority that I know. He says, listen to me. I want to go with you. Do you mind if I come with you? I cannot believe that a rabbi is going to rule on whether I should do surgery or not. She said, come. So the next morning, she goes to Rabbi Feinstein together with her father and the doctor. And Rabbi Feinstein was a very, very special, refined person. And he welcomes the doctor and he asks all kinds of questions. And finally, he turns to the lady and he said, you told me that your husband studied in my yeshiva 20 years ago. I'm trying to remember what he looked like. Do you by any chance have a picture of what he looked like 20 years ago? She says, Rabbi, it just turns out that I happen to have a picture of what he looked like as a young man. And she takes out the picture, she shows it to Rabbi Moshe, and Rabbi Moshe recognizes the face and he starts crying. He starts crying because now he knows who this kid is. He's a man now in his 40s with children and a wife, and he's gonna die. And Rabbi Moshe, listen to what he says. He says, he says to the doctor, you can do the operation. First of all, the doctor, when he saw the rabbi cry, he turns to the woman and he says, now I understand why that rabbi can make a decision like this. Because any rabbi who can cry about a student that he had 20 years ago, God's going to give him the right idea to make the right decision. So Rabbi Moshe says, let him do the operation. Do the operation. However, the gentleman should be makabel. That means he should undertake something special. And that is, that every time he says a bracha, he should say it out loud. Why? So people should be able to say, you know what this word is, amen. And he should have other people say blessings out loud to him, so he should be able to answer amen. And they looked at him, why? Like, what's amen? What's so special? Listen to what he said. It's hard to believe. Okay? Does anybody know a numerical value? How much is aleph equal? 1. How much is mem equal? 40. Okay. And nun? 50 equals how much? 91. Okay, now watch this. Moshe Feinstein said that the word malach, which means angel, it's also equal to 91. You can believe me. 40, 30, 1, and 20. It's also 91. He says every time when you say a bracha out loud, you create an angel. And those angels are going to protect this gentleman. So if your husband is willing to undertake that commitment, that he's going to say blessings out loud, he's going to create these angels. And other people will say brachas, he's going to say amen, and these angels will protect him. And you know something? He undertook it, and he lived another 6 years. And you know why I told you this story? Because every time I speak, I try to drink. I'm just been waiting to make this bracha for you. That's why I didn't want you to take away the coffee. So I'm going to say a bracha out loud. We'll all say amen. We're all going to create holy malachim here in Hanof, and it'll protect all of us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'akol niyeh b'dvaroi. Amen.